Welcome back. We're still with Mrs. Bukola Shonibare, and thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you.
Still on the issue of the Chibok girls' release. We left off with how ill-equipped the military might be, but of course there have been several signals from the military themselves that things have upgraded. But in spite of that, really, when you heard about the 3 months deadline, what came to your head?
How possible is it for us to win a 6-year-old war in 3 months? That was what came to my mind immediately. Because insurgency isn't a 1-month-old war for us, and I use the word war carefully. Because if you look at what is on ground in the northeast, we went round and we saw what war could possibly look like. So if we carefully say insurgency is just an insurgent, it's just an insurgency, it is not a war, then we'll be deceiving ourselves. So when President Buhari came out with the 3-month deadline, I weighed a lot of things. One, in what capacity did he give the 3-month deadline? In his capacity as not just the president, but as the commander-in-chief. For a commander-in-chief to come out publicly in the face of the entire Nigerians to say that in 3 months' time we will be winning this war. He has given a deadline of 3 months. That's a very, very huge one. So the fact that it is coming in his capacity as a commander-in-chief, I held on to that. 2, what factors have been put together for us to say in 3 months' time it is possible for you to go and win this war? What it means for me is that if I ask you to go and achieve something in 90 days' time, it means that on my own part, as the sender and as the one who has given you that authority, I have done my part in providing not just the equipment, the resources, but also the enabling environment to make sure that this is achieved within that particular period of time. So I weighed 1, the authority of the person who had said it. 2, I weighed also the factors. And 3, I weighed the circumstance with which he said that. The circumstance in the sense that, okay, what was happening that led to that? Was it something that just dropped or something that was carefully thought of before it was communicated? So the circumstance in which that was communicated was when the new service chiefs were being installed. And that was not just a small event, that was a national event. And if that was communicated during that sort of event, looking at those 3 factors, then let's wait till the end of the 3 months before we ascertain if these 3 factors had actually been carefully put together before that instruction or that announcement was made. But for us as Nigerians, talking as a citizen and as a member of the Bring Back Our Girls group, who have been agitating on an issue that borders on our peace and security as a nation, I received that with a lot of optimism, but I'm really hoping that our expectation is not dashed. Not only because this is a new administration, but because President Buhari coming in, there has a lot of expectation. Number 1 is his primary responsibility, which is the primary responsibility of any government. That is the security and welfare of the people. So we are waiting. I am particularly waiting to the end of the 3 months for us to see results. But I must say that if by the end of 3 months this is not achieved, it will be a big slap. And I'm hoping that we don't have to record a lack of success. But let us look at the results that has been achieved so far. The rate of attacks, the frequency of attacks, the scale of attacks. If we look at that, we can indeed say that we are gradually winning it. So what I have told myself as a safe escape is that if at the end of 3 months we do not completely or outrightly wipe out insurgency, but we can look back to 3 months before that end and say that indeed we've come very far. That is what I'm holding on to.
You know, you just came back from Chibok community. What were the feelers from them? You know, what did you perceive? Optimism or otherwise as regards this fight?
What I perceived in Chibok, you know, going to Chibok required that we went through a lot of the communities that had been attacked before now. Yes. So we saw, we actually stopped the movie. We stopped the movie for, I think, over 1 hour. It was a movie we needed to buy a number of things that were taken there. And I looked at the vibrancy of the market in movie. And I tried to juxtapose it with the fact that Mubi was once under the control of Boko Haram. And I saw how this happened a few months ago. And now people have picked up their life, and life has continued for them. In
Chibok again, yes.
However, moving from Mubi and then getting to Chibok, what I saw was different from what I saw in the vibrant Mubi market. So you see burnt houses, you see empty houses, you see a lot of places that are no longer habitable for people. You see, and then finally we got to Chibok. When we got to Chibok, I have to say this, if any strategy is being implemented, if it does not get to the grassroots, to the people that are largely affected, then it does not make sense. Why I said this is because getting inside Chibok, meeting the people of Chibok, meeting some of the parents, some of the fathers, some of the mothers. We met the vice principal of the school where the girls were abducted. We met the PTA chairman. We met the community chief. A lot of the vigilante group came to where we were. In fact, where we met the parents is a community school where the Chibok girls schooled for 3 months before they were for 3 years before they were taken to the school where they were eventually abducted. Now, looking at what is happening in Chibok, they don't understand the language of counterinsurgency. If what led to the insurgency in the first place and what led to them being a soft target is not taken care of. And I'll give you an example. Those girls were abducted in that school over 500 and something days ago. Till now, that school isn't completed yet. There is no functional school in Chibok. Now, one would expect that a community that serves as a representation of every other community, because Chibok is not the only community that is being attacked or that has been attacked or that has suffered in the hands of insurgents. No schools, no roads. The only road that took us into Chibok is the only accessible road into Chibok. Every other road has been closed down, either as a result of insurgency or as a result of high security. Maybe they needed to close it down because of uncertainties. No water, no hospital.
So specifically, did they give you any, did you feel any optimism or belief? Did they even express this to the group about the return of the girls?
I asked that question specifically. Do you have hope? And they said to me that even if it is 1,000 days that their children have been missing, they are still waiting for them. They still have hope. So despite the fact that they are in pain, they are still in pain, they are still waiting for their girls to come back.
I just very quickly now, when you heard that some girls might have been married off, how did this come across to you?
Very sad, especially because that came actually right from the beginning of the abduction. Right from the first week of the abduction, there were information as to how those girls may possibly, and I use the word may with uncertainty because I don't have any empirical evidence, have been married off, not just among the insurgents, but you know, in border countries that borders Nigeria. And for me, that still exposes another issue that needs to be dealt with in the Northeast.
So the emotion you feel on this right now is what precisely?
We still have a long way to go. There's still a lot of work to be done. If children could easily be married off, it means that we have not even gotten it right as it relates to child marriage. If children of that age could easily be married off, it means there's still a lot that needs to be looked at in that community that could actually be fueling that. The insurgents will not just come out and say the next thing they want to do is to marry their girls off if it is not a practice. So I believe that a lot still has to be done in terms of child marriage as it relates to the whole context of the Northeast and how girls are handled in that region.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Mrs. Bukola Shonibare, for coming on Dateline Abuja. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your mails as always. We will take a few of them right away. I have this one from Adesomi, who writes in from Adeyemi College of Education in Ondo State. And it says, TET Fund should do more to encourage academics' participation in conferences and seminars. He goes on to say, I have attended 2 conferences in the US and UK and was not paid despite my application. Authorities at TET Fund, please do something about this. Well, Ame Elijah also wants TET Fund to explain to Nigerians how students undergoing master's program can benefit from their funding. And finally, Olaiton Shofola wants to know how TET Fund quantifies the use of research grants. Well, keep your views and comments coming using the address and Twitter handle on your screen. And you can also let us know anything happening within your locality, especially if you're in the nation's capital. Now, don't forget to view the program on youtube.com/channelsweb/videos. Let us know your comments as always, and we'll have them aired right here. I'm Gloria Umezuki. Thank you for watching this week. See you again.